Hey everybody, it's Venom321 here, bringing you some more Pokemon Black 2 and White 2 Wi-Fi battles. This is another match I got against CuRsseofPokEmoN. He challenged me again on the Smogon Wi-Fi Battle Finder, so we decided to have our third match to see who would win, because the past couple of matches have been really close. So let's just go ahead and begin the match and find out who wins this match. So right off the bat, I'm going to go ahead and start off by sending out my Gliscor, and he's going to go ahead and start off by sending out his Landorus. This is actually, I guess, an alright matchup because, well, we're both basically the same type. But the only bad thing about him sending out his Landorus for me is that he has the Intimidate, so that's actually going to be bad for my Gliscor because it's going to lower my attack down, but whatever. He's going to go for the U-turn, and he's going to go ahead and switch on to his next Pokemon, which is going to go ahead and be his Mamoswine. I decided to stay in, so I'm going to go ahead and set up the substitute, so that's actually pretty good because I got a free substitute up. So yeah, the Toxic Orb kicked in, and that's really good because, well, yeah, I get most of my HP back every single turn, which is pretty good. That's one of the reasons I use Gliscor a lot. He's going to go ahead and use the Ice Shard, and he got a critical hit. That's going to be enough to break my substitute, but I went for the Toxic because it's always pretty good to have some of his Pokemon poisoned. So yeah, for this next move, I'm going to go ahead and switch out because I do not want to get hit by an Ice Shard from this Mamoswine. So I'm going to go ahead and switch on to my next Pokemon, which is going to go ahead and be my Rotom, because Rotom does resist the Ice Shard. And he's, like I said, he did go for the Ice Shard, but that actually did quite a bit of damage, considering that Rotom does resist it. But whatever, what can you do? For his next move, I'm going to go ahead and go for the Hydro Pump, and he's going to go ahead and switch out into his Latios because, well, he does not want to get hit by a Hydro Pump. So yeah, this Rotom is Choice Specs, and it did do a decent amount of damage considering that Latios does resist it. I'm going to go ahead and switch out because I do not want to get hit by a Draco Meteor from this thing, so I'm going to go ahead and go out into Gliscor. At this point, I'm just sacrificing Gliscor because, well, I had no other good Pokemon to sacrifice. So yeah, he's going to go for the Draco Meteor, and that's going to be enough to take down my Gliscor, which kind of sucks, but whatever. For this next move, I'm going to go ahead and send out my Tornadus because I'm hoping Tornadus can easily revenge kill this Latios. He's going to go ahead and switch out because he does not want his Latios to die, and he's going to go ahead and go back out into his Mamoswine. And I'm going to go ahead and set up the substitute because I was predicting him to switch, so now I have another free sub up. So that's pretty good. Two of my Pokemon carry sub in this match, so yeah. He's going to go for the Ice Shard, and that's going to be enough to break my substitute. But I'm just going to go for the Hurricane. I do have Focus Blast, but I do not want to risk Focus Blast missing. So yeah, I'm just going to go for the Hurricane because I tend to be more lucky with Hurricane. I mean, most of the time I get really bad luck with Focus Blast. But yeah, I went for the Hurricane, and that's going to be enough to take down his Mamoswine. Now he's going to go ahead and send out his Jolteon, and this thing is a huge threat, so I'm going to go ahead and switch out and go out to my Landorus because I was predicting a Thunder move, but I'm guessing he predicted me to switch out into my Landorus, and he went for the Hidden Power, and I believe that's going to be Hidden Power Ice. So that's going to go ahead and be enough to take down my Landorus. I was kind of shocked that he actually predicted it, but it was a little obvious, so what can you do? So for his next move, I'm going to go ahead and send out my next Pokemon, which is going to go ahead and be my Rotom. I'm not sure why I did this. I mean, it was kind of risky because Rotom does not resist the Thunderbolt, but at this point, I'm hoping I can live a Thunderbolt, and I do manage to live it, which is really good. So I'm going to go for the Hydro Pump, and because it is Choice Specs, that's going to be enough to take down his Jolteon. So now that's actually pretty good, and he's going to go ahead and switch out his next Pokemon, which is going to go ahead and be his Dragonite. This Dragonite is really bad because I have not set up Stealth Rocks, or I don't have any Pokemon that sets up Stealth Rocks on this team, so that means he still has the multi-scale ability, so that's really bad. But he does have the Life Orb, as I just saw right there, so he got rid of the multi-scale ability. I'm going to go out into Tornadus and just go for the Hurricane, and I'm hoping I could take it out after he lost his multi-scale ability due to him having the Life Orb, my bad. And that is enough to take it down, so as you can see, Tornadus is actually a really, really good Pokemon. He's going to go ahead and go out into his Landorus, and at this point, since he switched into it, I know he's definitely Choice Scarf, that's why he switched into it. So I'm going to go ahead and go out into my Reuniclus, because Reuniclus is probably one of my best bets to counter this thing. He's going to go for the Stone Edge, and I'm hoping Reuniclus could take at least maybe 2 of them, and he does end up taking it, so I'm going to go for the Calm Mind just to basically kind of set up a little bit on this thing. But yeah, for his next move, he's going to go ahead, and I believe he's going to stay in and go for the Stone Edge. I know he's locked into Stone Edge, so that's actually really good because he does have the chance of missing like he did right there. So I went for the Recover, knowing that, well, I was kind of being... this was kind of risky because I was predicting him to miss, so I went for the Recover. But yeah, he's going to go ahead and switch because he knows he's locked into it and he's having bad luck with it. So he's going to go ahead and go on to his Infernape. At this point, he told me it was a mistake that he switched out into his Infernape. So yeah, luckily for him, I went for the Calm Mind because if I did go for the Psychic, that would have been really bad for him. But yeah, he's going to go ahead and go back out into his Latios because he thought Latios might be one of the only Pokemon that can't take my Reuniclus. It's not very, I went for the Psychic and it's not very effective, but I did get really lucky and I dropped the special defense down by 1 stage, so that's actually really good. He's going to go for the Recover just to basically recover the Psychic damage that I did to him, but I know he can't keep stalling my Reuniclus forever because I did drop a special attack, special defense, my bad, and that's actually really good. I ended up dropping special defense again right there, so he knows he's pretty much dead, so he's just going to go for the Draco Meteor just so he can get some damage on my Reuniclus, but thanks to the Calm Mind, I take the Draco Meteor quite nicely from the Latios, and he's going to end up killing himself with the Life Orb. So now I just went for the Psychic right there. Probably would have been a better idea for me to go for the Recover if I actually did predict him to go for the Draco Meteor. But what can you do? Now he's going to go ahead and switch out into his Landorus. But I know Reuniclus might be able to take this thing. He's going to go for the U-turn, and I'm hoping that Reuniclus can survive a U-turn from this thing. And sadly, or lucky for me, he lives with 9 HP left. And that's kind of a bad thing because he's going to get taken down pretty easily. He's going to go out into his Infernape, basically to sacrifice this thing. But I went for the Recover, knowing that I might be able to live a U-turn, so that's actually really good, because now I have most of my HP, or half of my HP back, so I'm getting really lucky at this point. So for his next move, he's going to end up going for the Fire Blast. It probably would have been better for him to be running a more physically offensive Infernape instead of a more specially offensive Infernape, because then he could have gone for the Flare Blitz, and that might have been able to take down my Reuniclus. But I got really lucky that he was running a specially offensive Infernape, so I'm going to be able to finish him off with a Psychic, and that's actually really good. Now he's down to his final Pokemon, which is going to go ahead and be his Landorus, and that's actually really bad for me because 1 Stone Edge is going to be enough to take down my Reuniclus, and my next 2 Pokemon, which are Dragonite and Tornadus, are both really weak to Stone Edge, so we both basically know that if he misses 1 Stone Edge, I basically won the game. So I'm going to go ahead and go out to Dragonite, and I'm hoping he misses a Stone Edge, and he does end up missing the Stone Edge, and at this point I was like, oh my god, I just basically won the match. So basically I'm just going to go for the Outrage, and for his next move he's going to go for the Stone Edge, but thanks to Dragonite's multi-scale ability, I basically end up taking the Stone Edge quite nicely, and I'm going to be able to finish off his Landorus with an Outrage, and that's going to be the end of the game. That was a really close game. It all came down to luck, so good game, Curse of Pokemon.